one. You can answer it however you like, but what would you say the state of the state is right now?
Uh, it's being torn apart by Governor DeSantis, is what I would say. And I think, honestly, Roger, that he takes such, it seems like pleasure, frankly, and I'm sad to say that, in dividing groups, LGBTQ, Black citizens across the state, eliminating African-American congressional districts, Al Lawson's, Val Demings, of course, taking away a woman's right to choose, not being focused on the environment. It's one thing after another, fighting public education, not paying our teachers what they deserve. It's appalling to me. And it's why I'm running for governor, because I love Florida. I love Florida's people. I know they deserve better than this. And I hope and pray that we get better in November.
What would be the top three priorities of a Crist administration?
Well, I think, it's been thrust on us by the Supreme Court, obviously, but Roe v. Wade, a woman's right to choose, is a huge priority. On top of that is voting. I have a 90-year-old father, an 87-year-old mother, live here in St. Petersburg, where I grew up, and they love to vote by mail. And he's making it harder to do that. He's making it more difficult for marginalized communities to vote by not having drop boxes, as we have had in the past. And so I think voting, as I learned from John Lewis, my amazing former colleague, God rest his soul, from Georgia, he used to always tell us, Roger, that, our right to vote is precious. And it's probably so precious that it's sacred. And I believe he was absolutely correct, because all these issues that we care about really flow from the right to vote and upholding the right to vote. And what's ironic about having, a police, if you will, at our polling places now under this governor, just naming Pete Antonacci head of that enforcement group, or whatever you want to call it, is just appalling. And standing in the way of democracy is what this governor is doing. I'm a Democrat running to protect democracy. He's like an autocrat, trying to be a dictator. And I can't believe what we're witnessing, but we are. We need to understand it. It is a real threat to the future of our state and our country because of his presidential aspirations. And I guess thirdly would be the environment. I mean, I was born in Pennsylvania, but moved to St. Pete when I was 3 years old. I've grown up in Tampa Bay. You all are very close to that. And I think it's the most beautiful place in the world, our Sunshine State, but not if you don't take care of her. And I think that the governor clearly has taken his eye off the ball because he is so laser focused on 2024 instead of, Florida in 22. And it's heartbreaking.
So what's the biggest lesson you take from being a former governor that you'd apply as a future governor?
Well, I think it's so vitally important to have checks and balances. It's how our framers set up our federal government, how Florida's government is obviously established. We have a legislative branch, probably more likely than not, they're going to continue to be held by Republicans. But I think reaching across the aisle, as I've traditionally done throughout my career, whether when I was a Republican governor with President Obama and working in the Great Recession, getting through the BP oil spill on the environmental front, I think that kind of partnership is something that the legislature would appreciate. And it's sort of my carrot approach, if you will, hopefully after becoming your governor and having the opportunity to work with moderate Republicans in that legislature and Democrats and or independents to forge a brighter future for our state and work together to get things done for the people.
Well, I guess you kind of touched on this question in your responses now, but as far as partisanship, how would you reduce the kind of toxic level of polarization that we see, not only in Washington, but in Tallahassee?
Well, I think leading by example is a good way to try to lead. And I've always tried to comport myself in that fashion, to be decent to other people, to be respectful, to listen. My dad was a family doctor here in St. Pete for 55 years. And he always used to tell me and my three sisters, guys need to understand that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, respect God's ratio, try to listen twice as much as you talk, and you'll be amazed how much you can learn. And it'll show that kind of mutual respect I think, that can earn trust and therefore give us an opportunity as a state to move forward with a Democratic governor, probably our Republican legislature, although we don't know that for sure. There's a lot going on, as we know, like with the hearings and things we're witnessing of my colleagues. But I think we do have an opportunity to set a good path and a more civil tone. I think it's vitally important to do so.
Well, Congressman, we've covered a lot. I really appreciate that. Thanks so much.
It's my pleasure. Listen, thank you, Roger. And
thank you.
I appreciate the time that you take to do this. And it's not easy to do endorsements, but the future of our democracy is at stake. So God bless you for doing it.
Thanks very much. Thanks again.
All right, you too. Have a great day.
You
Thank
too.
you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.